Well, hello everyone. This is Sarah, your medium on the go. Coming back from COVID. I'm not quite there yet, but feeling a lot better since the last time I spoke to you. So, tonight we're going to deal with the Tesla fires. The dealerships, cars, they've been burning up all over the world. And today I was listening to a number of you are familiar with Tabitha, who gives commentary on current events, and it really appeals largely to a black audience, but she is inclusive in talking about other marginalized people, LGBTQ, Jews, or anybody that I guess doesn't fit into that white Christian straight what a male um, kind of thing. And it was a very good. It was I forget the name of the talk, but it was on earlier today, and she did go into the talking about the muskrat. As far as how he represented how he hated marginalized people, and that in fact those factories are very hostile, especially racially hostile workplaces, and just an awful, awful place to work, and what they represent and all that sort of thing. I'm thinking, oh, like Volkswagen and Mercedes back in the 1930s, who did help to fuel Germany in World War II and the Holocaust. Interesting how I hadn't thought of that until now, how this comes up. But what I found very interesting was someone in the comments said that it's interesting comparing the all that's been going on, saying, like, don't forget that these assassination attempts were done by his people, the MAGA people. And then all of a sudden it popped something that's been in the back of my mind, but thinking, oh, is it that this is going to sound too like too much of a conspiracy thing? And I wrote a very brief comment. In fact, there were a lot of comments on this responses, and I responded, well, that's interesting. Could this be the 21st century Reichstag? And what the Reichstag was, it happened at the end of February in 1933, when Hitler was coming to power. So in order to gain a real foothold and get the whole, ball rolling for the for hatred of the different groups they decided were not friendly to the Reich, was to build this very big, burn down this very big government building. I think it was like the parliamentary building, I think in Berlin, or is it Berlin or Munich? But at any rate, and blame it on the socialists and the Jews, and they had the scapegoat all picked out and ready to go. So my comment was, yeah, could this be the 21st century version of that? And it's been sticking in the back of my mind. Now, I can't get too much into the whole thing because this has been worldwide. They've done it in France, the UK, from the UK to maybe even further east, probably some of the Eastern European countries, to California, literally. And so I would say that's far too many places for this to be so coordinated by the maga sympathizers that they could get all that together and then blame Antifa, Black Lives Matter, and all this stuff like they did for January 6th and the protests that came in the summer of 2020. So I don't, but I wonder if there are pockets of that, like perhaps some angry and it doesn't even need to be ideological, but maybe some angry person that had been mistreated at the workplace just got really angry, and then again it could be. So I'm thinking there's all these different components, but I would like to do a reading to see if there is any of that with any of these around the world. Not everyone, but if somebody got a bright idea, well, let's do it and blame it on the Democrats, the left wing, and the marginalized groups. So I have to say, to make it very clear, that I do not approve, and to put it mildly, of any sort of the vandalism or the fires, and it's mostly fires. Spray paint is spray paint, and whatever they do. That's not great, but that's not as bad as burning up cars and factories and dealerships. But I want to see if somebody got the bright idea of let's do this and place the blame. So that's one reason I don't approve of it. Another one is, hey, some people get hurt when that happens, and it could be the night watchman who's just trying to feed his family or supplement his retirement. So it just, these things never end well. But what it did was the Reichstag really solidified Hitler in power, and so that's a real good reason not to approve of these things, because they can really work against. They can really backfire. But I want to see if that's something that the people on the right did. Now, I don't think that they're competent enough to have planned this as a worldwide thing. But I'm going to say the isolated incidents, or maybe a few too many of them, that would be pretty much springing up. I doubt if anybody, bothered to read a history book to see, oh, let's do like what Nazi Germany did, because I don't know that they're, that nuanced for that. And I also believe this is something that has been done throughout history, that it's unfortunately a very common thing. So, of course, the card that the focus card for tonight, and you'll see it in the thumbnail, it's the tower, the good old tower. And this is the interesting one this will be the deck I'm using. As you see that there are crowns on top of the tower, that is pretty much to topple the king. So there is some of that going on behind the scenes, and I thought I would show you another one. This one I find interesting because the flames at the bottom, they almost look like hands, and that indicates that, that this tower, the fire was set on purpose. It wasn't just the lightning at the top, but someone at the bottom probably set the fire. So I find that kind of interesting. So I have put that in the back in the deck. I will shuffle them, and then I'm going to use the reflective tarot as well. But I just want to see if this is something, or this could be something that is catching on, because it's also, one reason I'm wondering about this is because of the fact that he's starting to be known as Apartheid Clyde, his popularity is really, really tanking and then that whole Trumpian use the lawn of the White House as a used car sales pitch, used car lot kind of thing. That's sort of bizarre. So let's see, keeping that in mind, let's see if what the cards have to say. If this is some has something of a Reichstag, the other side did it, because a lot of the I remember with the Black Lives Matter demonstrations in 5 years ago was that especially I have to talk about the one in Pittsburgh. I think it happened over Memorial Day weekend. That some of the troublemakers caught. They did find out find the white power literature, and they were sort of like skinhead, maga skinhead, Proud Boys type. So, and a lot of other cities too. So that this is nothing new. So let's see. As the indicator, okay, and where it's at now is the hanged man. So that does go to the philosophy of, well, we're getting kind of desperate. We've got to take and we're sort of being chained to this whole thing of being hated. We've got to try a different approach and see if we can get other people to deflect the hate away from Elonia. Okay, so energy crossing, that is kind of an inspired idea. That somebody that this is kind of looking as though this is quite possible. But yet they can't. With this, this also tells me that they're probably not going to be able to break loose of those being chained to him. I don't think that there's anything that's going to happen that's going to make people love them. But so this comes out of like when you're, the bright idea of when you get desperate. So let's see what's underlying all of this. Justice in reverse. Well, they've thought, well, we just absolutely get away with murder all the time. That the legal system, we're just defying the legal system all the way and don't seem to be paying anything for it, so why not? And kind of maybe getting some people who feel as though, I would say these are kind of like the January 6th types. They feel like they're tired of being left out in the cold, but they're going for the wrong kind of help, and those are the people that get sucked into doing this kind of a thing. And then we've got the Lovers, hoping that this alignment is going to last. So it's starting to make sense. I was kind of hoping the cards would say it wasn't going to make sense, but so let's see, in opposition of this is, it's the Fool. Like, let's begin this, take a chance and hope that no one figures it out. And I'm telling you, if I'm seeing this, I mean, it's not anything I've seen rampant chatter on the internet, but I do have to say, if I see something in a comment that and then like a whole slew of replies, this may not be the biggest stretch of the imagination to think that something like this could happen. So okay, so we have that, and conscious thoughts. The conscious thoughts of this sort of thing, the Three of Wands. Here we go with March. This is kind of an attempt to try to save the sinking ship. This is getting desperate. And it's telling me that there might be a little bit of an international thing, that the United States, I'm not saying this is necessarily worldwide, but I will say that maybe out of like the dozens and dozens in Europe, maybe one or two could be like that. So it's there could be something international about this. So okay, subconscious thoughts, the King of Swords. in reverse. So this is about the combination of the lying of the muskrat and of Fotis. That it's like, let's eat underneath all of this is like, well, this is a great lie. Let's keep the lie going because people are stupid enough to believe this. Okay, so in the past of all of this, we have 10 of swords in the 10 of swords upright. This is kind of like, and I'm using the expression of the eye hip ladies. It's like Trump and the muskrat and all of these people are, as they call them, big titty babies. The white man as the victim. That's always the victim. And they're always stabbing us in the back. So we've got to do something to fight back. Now, I'm not sure of who, if this has been happening. If they're behind that, I would certainly, this certainly tells me the energy, the energy of these people on top are behind it. I mean, are a driving force in the past, and they possibly could be. It's possible, and I, of course, for entertainment purposes only. So let me see. So presently we've got the 6 of Wands. Oh, in reverse. So they're really trying to get a victory somehow. The only way they can do that is to try to blame others for doing that. So we've got the 6 of Wands in reverse, because they may seem to be getting away with a lot, but the tide is so turning against them, not only in the States but internationally. I mean, I'm kind of a little bit blown away as to, I mean, all of this stuff going on overseas. I mean, I'm thinking the French have been doing it, as I kind of think of, like, back to nostalgia, the World War II resistance thing. So we got this, and so presently is seven of Pentacles in reverse. So upright, she's walking away from the bad decisions that the bad fruit that she's planted off that tree. But this is in reverse, which is telling me, yeah, she knows it is, but let's go pick it anyway. Okay, she's going to walk back and turn around and pick all that rotten food. This is really feeling like desperation. So in the immediate future, interesting, we've got the Queen of Swords in reverse, which is telling me that it's all of this talk of blaming the people on the left and this and that, and I'd say that this is so complicated and so involved that, of course, there could be extremists like that, but she's kind of in reverse. She's the vicious gossiper. So I would say that this would be the muskrat as the whiny little queen who, it say just about anything out of desperation. So expect more. And I think crazy, crazy, crazy stories. So, okay. So a little further into the future. Well, we got to keep up stealing from the, we got to keep stealing from the, look at all this. It's like God leaving, it speaks for itself. So let's just, while we're doing this will give us maybe a distraction so we can keep robbing everybody blind. Don't think it's working out that way, but this is how they may continue this into the future. So it is another way they rob from the, keep robbing from the poor working people. So then we have, in the hopes and the fears, the Three of Cups in reverse. There's hoping to be a celebration, but the fear is that there won't be a celebration since it's in reverse. This card also, and this is why this could vary, if this comes to light, why this could fail, because I see the Three of Cups in reverse as lots of people involved in this are having major problems with drugs and alcohol. We have the ketamine king. We have the defense secretary, who is alcoholic, untreated alcoholic, for entertainment purposes only, and so many people involved in this whose names we don't know are. So what this is saying, that if there is anything to this, this is doomed for failure. And I think that well, there's nothing like substance abuse to get yourself all paranoid. And to me, that's what the energy of this card is, not celebratory, but taking the celebration too far and getting in and messing it up, because you've got a bunch of addicts and alcoholics laying the plans. That it's not a really bright future. So let's see, we have an outcome here. The truth is going to come out. The truth will come out. I don't know when it's going to come out, but it will come out, as it always does with every single disaster he's paid. But I'm going to do a very quick reading on if there are consequences. So what have we got to learn from this is the Star in reverse. A lot of people have been talking about that we really, this has represented the United States, and we're in a lot of trouble here. We're indefinitely in a lot of trouble. But the whole thing is, the double meaning of this is that their star is falling, and you cannot bring your star back. You cannot become a star by vandalizing and blaming others and pulling all these tricks. That's why I really get a sense that I can't be the only one speculating about that. That's why I was inspired by that video. I am far from the only one that wonders if this isn't a little bit of a Reichstag action here. I think it's possible. As I say, it's not the whole thing. I think that there's many moving components of this, which really says that there's so many. I mean, people hate him for so many different reasons, and so there's so many people that have, or groups of people that have motives. I mean, as far as I know, some of these, maybe some of them in New Orleans or whatever, could be racially motivated, or maybe not. I mean, it's hard to say, but it is looking as though with a number of these, to keep the story going and to keep us distracted, it really looks very much like they're doing that. You know, while they have their big, let's dismantle democracy. What better way is there to distract and to blame, but to start these very dramatic? And I looked at all the and looking for an image for the thumbnails, some of the fires are very dramatic. I mean, they're just. I mean, I don't know if this is the right word to use, but spectacular. I want to know, are there going to be any consequences because if this is true, with a number of them, and all they'd need is like one or two big ones. Instead of what I'm kind of getting in these downloads is that instead of it being a number of fires, like maybe look at the bigger, the more spectacular ones, and see if this where whose fingerprints are all over this. So let's say in the event that this does go back to the Muskrat and possibly Trump, to see, are there going to be consequences this time? Because I'm sorry, immunity, if you look at that Supreme Court ruling, immunity does not include like violent crimes. There is a limit to that immunity. Maybe paying some hush money is one thing for, kind of the white collar stuff, but I think that ruling pretty much rules out anything violent of human lives, and if there have been, I think there have been, if there are lives lost with this, that is so much more serious, and that's probably. So let's see. In a couple of, in a quickie reading, let's see if there's going to be, if they get caught, if there's any consequences. So here we have. Wowie, and I did losing proposition, very losing which is telling me that at the very least it will be the tanking of popularity even more immense than it is now. And it also means that people will be taking to the streets. But trust me, there will be more of them than the Proud Boys or the Oath Keepers. So let's see. So this is like really a big losing thing. And then we have here Ten of Pentacles in reverse. This could tell me, this is Ten of Pentacles in this particular deck tells me that this takes money to do, and the funding for entertainment purposes only could have been done by some money laundering in the past. In order to get this thing going. Weird how these are coming up in reversals. Let's going to the future a little bit. The Nine of Swords in reverse is indicating that whoever planned this, if this is true, or if this is discovered, they don't seem to have had a care in the world of doing this, because they've been getting away with everything else. But I think the danger of the Nine of Swords in reverse is that one can, when it's upright, it's just like total insomnia, worry, but I would say that in paranoia, but I would say this card in reverse is like they need to be a little more scared. That's being a little bit too complacent, a little bit too sure of themselves. So I think I'm going to pull kind of an outcome card here. Oh, here we have the I swear I did. Star in reverse. Okay, this one is telling me that not only is this going to be very bad for apartheid Clyde and his lady Felonia, that the standing of the United States in the world is even going to go down further, that this is going to be very, very bad, and that their days of being stars are over. And which is telling me they may not be getting away with so much anymore. This is telling me the Teflon, the shine is dull, and the Teflon is really starting to scratch and chip and peel. So I want to just do a couple more, because this is a couple of clarifiers on this whole thing. So then we have this. This is telling me there's going to be a follow the money. The follow, this always comes up since I've been doing readings on anything to do with this maniac, has been follow the money. Who is the money? What money is behind all of this? Then we have, again, oh, interesting. 3 of Cups in reverse, and there will be no time for celebration. This whole thing could fall apart. And then we have no more stealing from the people, because this person, 5 of Swords, is now in reverse. It's saying that, okay, so the followers are not only leaving, they're probably going for the feds or whatever. But I am totally 100% on board with those that are saying that the ones that are going to really bring these characters down are going to be the disenchanted magas. Now, we don't want to see them going out and assassinating anybody, but I think that maybe not this directly. In fact, some of them might even be involved in this vandalism. That would be so much their style. But I would say that on top of everyone, I'm just sort of saying your generic red-hatted wearing person, that is not really complete. Maybe they went to January 6th, but they didn't go in the Capitol. Those types. They made a lot of noise outside, but they weren't part of scaling the walls. Those types. Those will be the one that I think that this could have, if this comes to light, this is what my spiritual team is telling me, is that this could very well come on the heels of some other really horrific news of things that they're doing that will be the thing that pushes them over the edge. This Tesla business could be the icing on the cake. I think that's what it would be. It would be the icing on the cake. Oh, just another thing. I think for MAGA to really turn against these guys up at the top, it's going to have to, because this is how they roll. They're very selfish. It's going to have to be something that affects them directly. I am seeing March kind of building up to a lot of stuff. April, that's going to be some month. But I will be, in the not too distant future, I will be doing a reading like everybody else does about what we see that could be coming up in April. Hold on to your hats. We're in eclipse season and all this kind of stuff. So at any rate, I think that's it for me tonight. And as I'm saying, as I recuperate, I may not be on every day as I have been. I'm taking it a day at a time, because this COVID really kind of, it really did do a number on me, and I do appreciate the comments wishing me well, getting better. So at any rate, when something else comes up, I'm hoping that I will be back with you soon. So that's it for now. Okay, bye.